Ladies and gentlemen, in just 1/1,000,000th of a second, the sun radiates as much energy as humanity produces in a year. In just 1/1,000,000th of a second. In just 1 second, a bird beats its wings 80 times while floating in front of a big flower in a forest. In just 1 second. When seen over geological time and evolutionary time, over a time of 4.5 billion years, we, as a species, only appeared on this planet very, very recently. Relatively speaking, within the context of the vastness of that time, our existence has only been mere seconds. Just seconds. The human eye takes just 3/10ths of a second to blink. Just milliseconds. In that time, in the flicker of it, we focus and refocus, we see, we send a message to the brain, and we comprehend. Time, ladies and gentlemen, the idea, the deep meaning of a moment, the fleeting quality of it, the image of it is indeed a precious and significant thing. It is the power of the sun, the drama of beating wings. It has a connection as relevant as a blink. For our organization to be successful and to deliver the conservation message, we have to think of time. Very carefully and very creatively. We have to prepare people, shaping a context, engineering a nuance, expressing a particular feeling. We have to do all of this in a moment. That magical moment, the convincing click, the split-second revelation, the marketing hook. And from this understanding arises the usefulness of an identity, a brand, a logo. From this emerges a vivid opportunity, the essential need for a name. Birdwatchers are visual people. They see the world a little differently. Through looking at birds, theirs has become an inquiring stare. It engages holistically with nature. We don't only see the skua at sea as a scavenger. Our skua is also an elegant skua, a graceful bird above the swell. The skua has become our swan, the swan of Swan Lake, a ballet dancer and an athlete, a choreographed player in a perfect show. Birdwatchers see birds as the untamed do, as feral connections to seascapes and landscapes, as integral parts of a critical narrative, as indicators of the health of our world. And so, in the simple and clear logo of BirdLife South Africa, we see a powerful truth. Our logo is not just a legal patent. Our logo is intimate, almost a living thing. It is ours, in the way that one might own one's name, in the way that one might understand the meaning of one's name, and one's place in a society of names. Our logo is a tern flying in beautiful abstraction, a personal tern, and a universal tern, and at once also a skua. A tern in blue and grey, blue for the sea and the sky, grey for the land and the living. A grey that is wholly appropriate, a colour that is neither happy nor sad, neither of high moods or low moods, a sober colour, a colour of seriousness, a fair colour, a colour halfway between the dark of black and the light of white. And the tern flies positioned and centred strongly above the word BirdLife. Centred with powering wings, held wide, tail spread in the shape that a rudder might spread, beak pointing forward like the bow of a ship, pointing with great conviction, pointing with direction. And the word BirdLife stands below the tern, straddling and secure, responsible under the weight of it, a big word, and at once two words, bird and life. Two balancing words, words in wonderful equilibrium. And the important tern and the word are together a symbol and a call out across every environment. An inclusive and loud call. A call for all people to look at birds the way that bird watchers do. Our organization, our name, has at last emerged into clear view. Our time has come. The moment, the blinking of eyes, is omnipresent. On a day, no particular day, I drove past a large billboard on the side of a busy freeway, and it advertised BirdLife South Africa. I then arrived at Cape Town International Airport and walked into CNA, and a full shelf was stacked with our magazine, African BirdLife. I walked past two digital billboards in the terminal building, and our logo glowed brightly on screens. After checking in, I purchased a getaway magazine at Exclusive Books and read a column written by BirdLife South Africa, our logo clear and loud. I boarded the aircraft, and an in-flight magazine offered a further article on our work. Still more logos, more photographs, and more stories about us. After seeing my branded t-shirt, the man sitting next to me inquired about what we do, and I chatted to him about conservation. On disembarking, 6 more of our billboards lined the walls above the baggage collection area with our message. Our logo had become architecture. I left the airport and walked into a meeting in a corporate boardroom in Johannesburg, carrying BirdLife South Africa designed folders and booklets and ideas. And I listened at length to many compliments about our conservation work, our festivals, and our events. The late afternoon came quickly, and we sipped BirdLife South Africa for the birds' wine. Our logo shone in gold on the bottle. That evening, I listened to birds in a BirdLife South Africa accredited green garden, and then stepped indoors to watch our public service announcements on ETV. In a few months' time, I look forward to hearing our song, composed by South Africa's most famous band, Freshly Ground, and drinking BirdLife South Africa for the Birds coffee and sprinkling BirdLife South Africa for the bird salt on my food, and hearing our name in the streets, in the little lanes of villages, and in the big boulevards of cities. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think again about time, of the power of the sun, of the beating of birds' wings, of blinking eyes. I look forward to times of watching many more wild birds flying across protected landscapes. And I look back in time at the importance of seconds, at the immediacy and power of a connection between two strangers, one who knows about birds and the other one who doesn't. And I think of critical moments, very real moments, the designed moments, the ones that have created a place for sharing a conservation message. And then I think of the responsibility of a name, of a good name, and the desperate need for our name. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way that I'm going to be able to match the poetic words of our chairman. So it's really time to come down a bit back to earth, or sea level. And I have to present the more staid aspect of BirdLife, and that's the financial situation. As mentioned earlier, BirdLife has just completed its third year of profitability. This year, we've made a really healthy profit of 465,000 Rand, compared to the profit last year of 147,000. Now, all of you may not have seen the annual financial statements, so I'll just show them to you. These are the financial statements. This is what it's meeting. However, if you haven't seen them, you may look at a summary of the information at the back of the report that you've all got in your hands. If I could just touch on some of the highlights, some of which have already mentioned verbally before. Donor funding towards the cost of our administration has increased from 1,788,000 in 1,788,000 in 2011 to 2,254,000 in 2012. And this, as we've indicated earlier on, includes 1,425,000 from our successful Golden Bird Patron Initiative. So donor funding is doing well, and a lot of it is all to do with the man on my right here. He's done a lot of hard work there. Some of the other aspects where we are raising income towards our administration includes our events. We've had a number of successful events during the year, the profits from which contribute towards the costs, and when we've got them, loss-making projects. While there's been a drop in membership, as indicated to you, membership, including corporates, still provide a healthy contribution towards our covering our costs. I'm happy to say as well that administration costs have been satisfactorily controlled. Some of the lowlights, our education division, as you may know, has incurred losses over the last number of years, and we haven't been able to find funding for that. So unfortunately, we've had to close down the education division. The other loss-making operation is at Bakkerstrom. Unfortunately, we still haven't been able to find a healthy donor towards Bakkerstrom, but we continue there, and we unfortunately are incurring losses. Other than that, I'm happy to report that all the other programs are all adequately funding and seem to have funding going forward into the foreseeable future. While we might think that a break-even situation would be acceptable to ourselves, and that is what our overall aim in life is to at least break even and not make a loss. Some of you may argue that our current profits are looking rather high. However, what we are aiming for is to try to recover the large losses that we have made in the past, which losses have been debited to our sustainability fund. And I should like to just point out that the losses that we are still trying to recover and that which have been written off to the sustainability fund are in excess of $1.5 million. So we still are looking for big profits. Just from a financial point of view, the balance sheet at this stage reflects a 11 million in investments, and that sounds a lot of money, and it is. However, we need to be understanding that a major portion of our investments is held in near cash to finance future operations, in the main represented by deferred revenue and subscriptions on the balance sheet totaling 7 million. So the 11 million, by and large, has already been set aside for future projects, money of which has been received. The annual financial statements have been audited by KPMG, and I'd like to thank them for the successful timeliest completion of the audit and for the assistance received. I'm not sure if there's anybody that might have any comments, but if they're not, then there's not. I would like to recommend that the financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2013 be accepted and adopted by the meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we could also just perhaps through a round of applause thank Mike McCulloch for his considerable input over the year. Thank you, Mike. And now if I can ask our President to come up and announce the nominations and election of office bearers.
Thanks, Vernon. Sorry, it's me again. So, put on my old man glasses. So, the BirdLife Constitution states that the Council shall comprise the Chairman, Vice Chairman and Treasurer, who shall be elected at each annual general meeting and hold office until the next AGM, when they shall be eligible for re-election, provided that the Chairman shall hold office for a maximum consecutive period of 4 years. The current Chairman, Vernon Head, has been in office for 2 consecutive years and is thus available for re-election. The current Vice Chairman, Mashudu Shifularu, has been in office for 2 years and is also available for re-election. And the current Treasurer, Mike McCulloch, has been in office for 8 years and is also available for re-election. I'm very pleased to announce that nominations have been received for all 3 of these esteemed gentlemen, and these have been duly proposed, seconded, and all 3 nominees have accepted their nominations. I take it from that round of applause that there are no objections? Okay, next item, thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Ladies and gentlemen, equally and according to clause 8.6 of the Constitution, Peter Ryan, the current honorary president, will be stepping down after 3 years in the position, and if we could give him a round of applause for his considerable and it is with agreement of the meeting, hopefully, and I'm sure, it is proposed that Dr. Phoebe Barnard be appointed the new Honorary President of BirdLife South Africa for the next term of office. And if I can ask Dr. Barnard to come up to the stage and just be introduced. Thank you, Phoebe. Mike, if you could also just, in terms of order, in terms of item 9, confirm the appointment of the auditors for 2013 as KPMG. Thank you.